African Eye.
You're welcome to 10:30 a.m. Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television with me, AUDREY ZATSA. This Monday or this Thursday, September 16, 2021, in the city of Douala, especially from Sable, Bonamoussadi to Santa Barbara neighborhood, floods after torrential rains last night. City dwellers were finding it difficult moving from one area to their various destinations. The affected Musoke or village. The city of Kumba in the southwest region is still in total lockdown by separatist fighters to stay home. All streets in that city remain empty, coupled with the suspension of commercial and social activities.
15 September 2021, Kumba in the lockdown, following calls by separatist fighters in what is known as the Q-Rest lockdown. No commercial activities, no circulation, and no students on the street. The Kumba main market is open, but buyers and sellers are not in there. The separatist movement had called for a suspension to the lockdown. Fears led to total lockdown in Kumba.
Our stakeholders, businessmen, bike riders, taxi receive so many messages from our office, from our civilians, and our generals and commanders for ground zero. They don't talk down until further notice. We're going to respect our Monday's lockdown only until we go back, we sit, we talk on the issue, we publish the ghost town as all will agree, depending on the terms of our struggle. We want to carry on our normal daily activities.
The city mayor of Kumba, Gregory May, to canvass for more projects for the city of Kumba, catches cold and even weeps on the phone when he learned that his city was in a lockdown, even when other cities are up.
So I know it is because of the fear. I know it is because of panic. I know it's because of the unknown. Limbe has no ghost town. Boya has no. Even Manfe, which you have to go through the Kliwindi, Kokobuma, Nguti, Osing, until you get to Manfe, they do not have ghost town. Why should Kumba? Saying that we fear more than these people in all of these other towns? No, we do not have the reason. The bikers should come out. They should do the transportation. The taxi drivers should come out. Integral part of our society, of our community, a very important part of it. If they are not there, how do the buy and sellers go to the market? How do the civil servants even go to their work?
Resume activities and accompany him in transforming the city. He says they should defeat fears.
We need to be courageous. We need to be courageous. We need to keep away. We need to keep away fears. We need to share the same vision. We need to share the same vision of development. The vision of development cannot be accompanied of courage, lack of enthusiasm, lack of, the input that will take us actually to where we want to go to.
In the meantime, the city of Kumba is totally locked down as business places and transport agencies remain closed.
And after Kumba, business premises in Boya have equally remained for an imposed lockdown by separatists on the population. Clarice Ekowe reports.
Following the call by leaders of armed separatists for a 3 weeks lockdown in Anglophone regions of Cameroon, this is the atmosphere in Boya this Wednesday, September 5th. In the early hours of the morning at about 10:30 a.m., premises in different neighborhoods like Sampit, Bakri Town, Great Sopo, and right up to Clerk's quarters could be spotted closed, while many are skeptical like. Talking off camera, most denizens of Boya have frowned against the call for a 15 days imposed lockdown by separatists that is expected to start 15, 2021 to the 2nd of October 2021. Most business premises remain closed for the rest of the day. Few taxis were spotted to transport passengers from one destination to the other. Contrary to the atmosphere on the street, it was a lively atmosphere in most schools as pupils and students respective school campuses. While many inhabitants of Boya are skeptical if the imposed lockdown will strive, many have decided to stay indoors to observe and see how the next few days ahead will look like.
City dwellers in Bamenda equally witnessed first day of ghost town announced by some separatist fighters, though other communique from different fractions debunked the information. With fear of the unknown, most city dwellers preferred to stay home and safe. Charles Kebo.
In the northwest region, the regional headquarters of Bamenda streets remain empty this September 15, 2021. With no taxi as well as private cars seen in the streets. Shops closed, with most traders and inhabitants indoor. So the economy of the city paralyzed. Given a ghost town was announced by secessionists and separatist fighters to run for 2 weeks, 15 September to 2nd October, though other communiques from different fractions denouncing the ghost town, with the fear of the unknown, many city dwellers are of the opinion the lockdown is uncalled for.
Desperate because ghost town has to go on and on with no results coming out. So I don't see why these are sons and daughters, our brothers, our children, what they in the bush. We should at least reconsider their strategy.
A report from Kumba, Fundong and Wum Town, we are told activities went smoothly today with no ghost town, with school-going children wondering why their studies goes interrupted after the 2 weeks of few days excitement of back to school, given education remains a priority a parent can give a child. By press time, the population still live on uncertainty.
My children yesterday, and now they're not going to school. You can see the burden, the heavy pain that we're having in our hearts. And to me, we should allow children to go to school. Because children have no role to play in politics. So at least, I'm begging them to reconsider their strategy.
High time, champions of boycott put an end to the campaign that is causing harm than good.
College has resumed at College Mezono College in Ngaoundéré as Muslims and Christian communities have reached an agreement through the Minister of Territorial Administration Paul Atanganji that Muslim students will not be obliged to wear school badges during his visit in the Adamawa region. Minister of Territorial Administration made a stop at the college to resolve conflicts between the two communities. The Imam of the Ngaoundéré Central Mosque had issued a communique September 9 calling on parents to withdraw their kids from the Catholic school as they were obliged to wear their school uniforms with a badge that has a cross on it. Minat therefore yesterday called on living together and return to normalcy at College Mezono in Ngaoundéré. Inhabitants of Sikh buildings in some neighborhoods of Douala have decried poor maintenance of lack of renovations of these buildings by authorities in charge, thus calling on them to resolve the issue of poor maintenance of these buildings. Our student journalist on internship, Manuela Tamu.
The house is constructed by the Cameroon Real Estate Corporation in its French acronym SIC in the economic capital of the country, Douala, has been existing for many years now. These houses have not only provided shelter to many inhabitants in Douala, but have also helped in developing the town. Despite its relevance in the country, the dilapidating nature of some of its buildings have made some inhabitants develop mixed feelings towards these SIC buildings.
Actually, if you look at it outside, you hate to stay in this sick house because of the poor maintenance. Actually, they painted it this year after a very long time. It has been so deplorable. They painted it after a very long time, but it didn't last for even a year.
Some of the tenants complain of lack of consistent renovations on the buildings, making it look unkept.
I don't know why they don't come to do like renovation, like saving the windows, the paintings. I don't know what's wrong. And to come on think of it again, 2022 we should be having our Nation Cup. So many people will be coming to the country.
Other tenants living in these sick houses complain of sudden halt on the painting activities that used to be done on the buildings.
They started renovation of the buildings with paintings and all, but all of a sudden it halts. I don't know. They stopped.
These tenants call on authorities concerned to look into the situation, especially now that Cameroon will soon host a major tournament.
Some 40 journalists drawn from different chapters of the Association of English-Speaking Journalists have received a training on how to report on the Anglophone crisis by knowing the accurate facts about the history of Cameroon. Clarice Ekowe tells us more.
These are journalists drawn from the different chapters of the Association of the Cameroon English-Speaking Journalists, CAMASEARCH, who converged on Boya this Saturday for a one-day seminar on understanding the history of Cameroon for a better reporting in crisis zones.
The tone and the selection of words or concepts to be used in describing a particular situation matters, and that is what we do on the workshop. We selected some concepts to explain, and we touched on the facts on the political history of Cameroon.
According to Professor Julius Victor Ngo, one of the facilitators, the divergence in Cameroon's history by some scholars has misled many journalists who, while reporting about the Anglophone crisis, either deliberately propagate lies or at times use wrong facts.
Several people saying that Southern Cameroon had independence before October 1961, and they are saying that we are fighting for the restoration of our independence. No, you cannot say you want something to be restored, and when you did not have it. Southern Cameroon had independence upon it joining the Republic of Cameroon midnight 30th September 1961. So it is important to know the history.
This training, organized by the National Office of CAMASEARCH, also seek to educate these journalists on how to keep themselves safe, cognizant with the prevailing health crisis.
We are reporting the conflict in the situation of COVID-19. That makes it a double problem for us, those who are in the Northwest and in the Southwest. And through the UNESCO office, we worked out a partnership with them alongside the European Union to see how we can help journalists to stay safe while reporting the conflict.
At the end of the seminar, participants were enjoined to be ethical and apply knowledge acquired while reporting the Anglophone crisis, which is intricately interwoven in the history of the country.
Vendors in the Bonamusari market have decried difficulties they face due to lack of customers to purchase both school items and foodstuff. Student journalist on internship, Gine Emmanuel, spoke with some of them. His report.
The back to school is over. Vendors of books, school materials are still seen outside, hoping to have the late parents considering the fact that these vendors solely depend on this back to school to make some money for themselves. This is the case of Marché Bonamusari. However, some bookshops are still filled. For some vendors, they think parents have not yet realized that the year has fully begun.
La rentrée scolaire, comme on constatait avec des petites crises qui minent le Cameroun, ça n'a pas été
facile. The back to school this year has not been easy. We have been waiting for parents to come and buy, but we also know it's slow due to the crisis in the country. But the back to school this year, all I can say about it is we put God in control, because everything that we bought will definitely go back to the warehouses, because we have not been able to make our own profits.
Sinon, en général, la rentrée a été très négative.
On the other hand, it has become a problem for seasonal vendors who sell foodstuff because most parents focus now on the back to school, hence not only affecting the booksellers but also fruit and foodstuff sellers like pineapples, plums and potatoes, which are seen everywhere, but yet no one to buy, also having to buy these products in stock and end up not selling them. Seasonal sellers are placed in a position where they tend to make low profit and become the sole consumers of their products.
And out of the country, the United Nations has ordered the withdrawal of Gabon's 450-strong peacekeeping contingent from the Central African Republic over sexual abuse allegations. This was yesterday, September 15, as UN said it has now received a total of 32 allegations of sexual abuse or sexual exploitation against troops from Gabon, which are part of an international peacekeeping force numbering thousands in the CAR in the Central African Republic. Meantime, Gabon said it had opened an investigation following the UN decision to withdraw Gabon's contingent to MINUSCA, the UN mission in Central African Republic. That was it for today's edition of Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television with me, Audrey Zatsa. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. You get details of some of these stories and more stories in our 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fon Quinta. Stay blessed in the company of programs on My Media Prime Television. Bye.